Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fate's Stay Night. Previously, Tohsoka Rin took her new summon, Archer, out on a tour around town to get a lay of the land. And along that journey, 2 or even 3 possible enemies were discovered. One person, one presence that was following Rin and Archer. One person who looked up at Rin coincidentally from the top of the skyscraper while she was standing up there. And then on the way home there was this curious character who had blonde hair and very striking and noticeable red eyes. I don't know about you, but that kind of screams main character to me. Anyhow, I did have a thought about what transpired last time. Rin and Archer went throughout the entire town, but it was only at the end when Rin took Archer up to the top of the skyscraper that Archer commented, "Oh, we didn't have to do any of that walking around, you could have just brought me here." And it's like, yeah, why hasn't Rin just asked Archer, like, "Okay, what are your strengths? How can I help you? What is advantageous to you? What are your weaknesses? What are you capable of?" And I guess that kind of shows how Rin is self-centered, maybe in her head, only concerned about what she can do. I do get that sense from her, but at the same time, I guess from a writing standpoint, it would be kind of weird if Rin just immediately went and asked all of these things when we're still lacking a lot of context for a lot of the mechanics and how these characters will function in the future. And yeah, as I said, we still have a few things we don't exactly know about servants. So hopefully this time we'll learn about that as well. Let's continue. So, after breakfast, I clearly explained my immediate plans.
Nani?
What? You're going to school? Yes. Do you have a problem with that, Archer? No problems, it's just... I did it again. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to skip this dialogue. At least this isn't really important stuff. Archer hesitates, but does not object. He must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kind of tell without him saying so. Archer is sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward way. This is my conclusion. No, more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday. Rin, as you are a master now, you must always be cautious of other masters. School is a place where it's hard to remain prepared against sudden attacks. The fact that Archer's even saying that makes me want to say with certainty that he has been summoned by another school student in the past. That's not true. Look, Archer, even though I am a master now, I don't intend to change my lifestyle. Besides, a battle between masters is something that should be done out of public view, right? So, if we are at school where there are lots of people, I don't think we'll see any kind of surprise attacks. I see. If that's what you've decided, I can only obey. Oh, Rin. Poor, naive, innocent Rin. All it would take is one master who has no morality. Or at least a very wicked one. Like, what is wanton accidental murder if a wish from the Holy Grail is at the end of your road? But I can guard you in spirit form, right? You don't intend for me to stay here while you go to school. Of course not. Not just at school, but I will want you by my side whenever I go outside. It is the servant's role to protect the master, so I'll be counting on you. I'm relieved to hear that. It is the duty of a knight to answer trust placed on us. I should do my best to meet your expectations. I have to wonder, this isn't the first time Archer has gone on to describe himself as being a knight. But I can't tell if that's just a term used to describe how loyal a servant typically is, or if it's just him subconsciously pulling from his past what he really is. Because he doesn't remember who he is. He shouldn't know he's a knight if he is one. I can't tell. But Rin, just hypothetically, what would you do if there were an enemy in that safe place? That is a good thing to think about. All contingencies. Plan everything. Huh? What, are you suggesting there might be a master at school? That's right. It's certainly hard for anyone who isn't a teacher or student to get in. But wouldn't it be a problem if someone already there is a master? I don't think that's possible. In this town, there's only one family of magi other than the Tohsoka. That other family has declined, and they don't even have a master. Are you sure about that? Also, you can't just bring up another magi family in this town who has apparently opted out of the war without doing something with them later. How do you know there isn't a master? Hey, it's only natural to investigate another family of magi in the same town. He isn't a master, and his successor doesn't have enough magical energy to become a master, so we can just ignore them. Are you sure about that? I see. So there is another magus at the school you go to, but you say that magus doesn't have sufficient magical energy to become a master. Is that correct? Yes. Exactly. So most masters will probably be coming from elsewhere. I don't think such people would come to the school. Well, for now at least. But Rin, there are always exceptions. What if there is a magus at your school that you don't know about? Like I said, there aren't any. Magi are sensitive to other magi. If we were at the same school for a year, I should be able to sense other magi no matter how well they hide it. I will state with confidence that there are only 2 magi at our school. One of them is me, and the other is only an apprentice who doesn't have enough power to become a master. But who is it, though? Do you understand? Your caution is just needless worrying. It's completely impossible. Are you sure about that? That's why this is only a hypothetical scenario. There's always another side to things. It's only natural for unexpected things to occur. I'm saying that when it does happen, do not blame me. Archer smiles dryly. Just that action makes me want to take it out on him. But if I did, I would be late for school. That won't happen. A hypothetical is a hypothetical because it won't happen. If it does, it just means my analysis was too shallow. Alright, I'll remember that. Let's go then, Rin. It should take 30 minutes to get to the school, so we won't make it unless we leave soon. I don't think Archer even saw... I don't think Archer even visited the school, but he already knows how long it will take. That goes to show his observational skills are good. I'm surprised. Hypotheticals do happen.
ああ、私も驚いている。
I'm surprised as well.
何事もケチをつけてお
Wow,
く
it pays to
ものだ。
argue over everything.
思わぬところで
It had an
役に立った。
unexpected payoff. As soon as we pass the school's main gate, we joke around like that. Oh. They're just pulling each other's leg. Around us are students heading to classrooms, and it's almost time for homeroom. In the crowd of people rushing into the school building, we stand dumbfounded. This isn't just the air stagnating. Isn't there a boundary field set up already?
完全にではないが、
It's not
すでに準備
complete,
は始まっているよ
but
う
the
だな。
preparations seem to have already started.
ここまで派手に
If
やっ
he's
てい
doing
ると
this
いう
so
ことは、
openly, he
よほ
must
ど
be a
の
real
大物
big shot. Wait, so there is a mage setting things up at school? I think I might have misinterpreted these words. Uh-oh.
とんでもない素人ね。
Or a complete
異常を
amateur.
感じさせる結界
A
なんて
boundary
三
field
流
that
なの。
lets others notice the
やるなら仕掛
abnormality
ける
is
ことま
only
で
third
隠し通してお
class.
くのが一流よ。
To be first class, it has to be hidden until it's activated.
で、君はどちらだと思う？
So,
リン。
which do you think it is, Rin?
さあ、
Who knows?
一流だろう
I
が
don't
三流
care
だ
if
ろう
he's
が
third
知った
class
こ
or
とじゃない
first
わ。
class.
私
I'm
の
just
テリ
going
ト
to
リー
beat
で
him
こんな
mercilessly
ゲ
for
スなもの
setting
仕
up
掛け
such
た
an
やつなんて
indecent thing in
問答無
my
用でぶっ倒
territory.
すだけよ。
I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first-year student walking unsteadily. The student is carrying some stack of papers, and it looks like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、
I'll
さくら。
help, Sakura. Oh, it's the girl that Blondie McRed-Eyes was talking to. Huh? Ah,
トサカ。
Tohsoka.
何？プ
What?
リント？
Handouts?
世界
World
史って言
history?
ったらうちの担任じ
That
ゃ
would be
な
my
い。
homeroom teacher.
クズキの
That
やつ。
Kuzuki.
女
What's he
生徒
thinking
に
making
使
a
いさ
girl
せる
do
なんて
this?
何考えてんだ
Here,
か。
give me half of it.
ほら、半分貸して。
Aw, Rin's so nice.
ありがとうございます。
Yes, thank you.
いいっていいって。
It's fine.
それじゃあこれ、
So
さく
we're
らのクラ
taking
ス
these
だ
to
ね。
your classroom.
く
No,
ずき先生の
we're
ところ
taking
で
them
す。
to Kuzuki.
こっち
He
が
said he's recalling them because there was misspelling. Wow,
納得。
I understand.
くずきは融通き
Kuzuki's
かない
really
から
stubborn.
ね。
He's the guy who
一つ誤字
canceled
が
the
あった
whole
ぐらいで
test just
試
because
験
there
を
was
中止
one
させるやつ
misspelling
なん
in
だ
it.
から。
Wow. Talk about a stickler for the rules.
試験って
You mean the school's
学校の
exam?
試験ですか？
Right. I think it was last year's
我々は去年の中
midterm.
間試験だったかな。
He came in while everyone was filling in their names and said in his usual tone that the midterm has a misspelling in
誤字
it.
があるので正
He
しい問
said
題
that
で
the
はなかった。
question was not correct, so the midterm was to be cancelled and
後日
retaken at a
改めて
later
行う
date.
ってあの
We
調
were
子で簡単
surprised,
と言ったの
but
よ。
so were the teachers, and they still
私た
talk
ちも
about
驚
it
いたけ
today.
ど、先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。
It was just thoroughly ridiculous.
なんか、くずき先生らしいですね。それ
That's just like Kuzuki.
先生、
He doesn't think teachers should make any mistakes.
間違いは許されないって人ですから。くずきのは
It
度が
goes
過ぎて
too
る
far,
けど
though.
ね。
You'll realize soon, too. Kuzuki is as stubborn as a rock or a mountain.
岩か山かって感じなんだから。
No freaking kidding.
遠坂先輩、くずき先生のことが好きなんですね。
Tohsoka,
先輩が
you
そん
must
な
like
風に言う
Kuzuki.
なんて
It's
珍
rare for you
しい
to
です。
talk about someone like that.
そう？
Really?
まあ、
Well, I
確かに
do
くず
think
き
you
は
should
も
be
うちょ
more
っと柔軟性が
flexible,
あればな
but
って思うけど。
I think that. But I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. The balance between the two works so well that I think Kuzuki is good disciplinarian. It's a stick in the carrot and stick approach. Oh, he's the stick in the carrot and stick approach. Stick in the carrot and stick. I feel like that should be carrot on a stick approach. Yeah. Well, you'll get to see more of him once you reach second year. He teaches ethics too. More importantly, Sakura, is it alright if I ask you something? Huh? What is it? It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a strange foreigner? Oh, you were watching? Just by chance. So, what was it? Do you know him? No. Well, he was a strange person and he seemed to be lost. He asked me lots of things, but I couldn't make out what he was saying, so, so he ran away. That just screams him being a foreign magus that was asking a local for knowledge, directions, anything, just to learn the land better, to learn the battlefield better. And I think he might not have run away because Sakura wasn't any help, but because he sensed Rin and Archer. I see. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. No, it's alright. Here is fine. I only have to hand these to him now. There's also the possibility that Sakura is lying to Rin. She's so soft-spoken and delicate, it's hard to imagine that she would, but... Can't imagine why she would help a foreigner out to that extent. Curious, most curious. I do not know what to think. Okay, see you later then. I pass the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to my classroom, I pause. Sakura, how are things? Yeah, it's okay. I'm doing fine. I see. Well, if Shinji does something again, tell me. He doesn't know when to stop, so it'll only get worse if you don't say anything. Oh, has Mitao been hounding her? It's fine. You don't need to worry. Brother has been kind recently. Oh! Shinji Mitao is her brother? Her older brother, presumably. So her name's Sakura Mitao. Interesting. Or... Yeah. No, wait. No. Her name would be Shinji Sakura. That's right. If she says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and night falls, there should be no one left in the school. Let's begin, Archer. First, we need to check out the boundary field. Once we figure out what kind of boundary field it is, we'll decide whether to eliminate it or leave it. I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across the land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary field, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes, to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. That doesn't sound good. The boundary field laid out over our school is of that kind. Oh! That doesn't sound good at all! It is not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magi, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So knock everyone at the school unconscious. Does this enemy mage have the intention of doing battle in midday? That's right. If you knock everyone unconscious during the school day, the remaining person would be super easy to recognize. They wouldn't be unconscious. Though, I suppose there would be nothing stopping the, there would be nothing stopping Rin from, like, faking unconsciousness and just laying down for a nap. That said, the enemy mage's servant would recognize Archer's signature, feel him out. If Rin was a worse person, maybe she could feign falling asleep and have Archer's spirit float over near someone else in another room. And when the enemy servant approached that room, she could spring a magical trap on him, or her, whoever the servant is. I don't know. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is everyone in this school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people still in school are me and Archer. So, this makes 7. Well, looks like this is the origin. Oh. Now, about this rune, the center, like, I'm not a dirty-minded person. If you know me, you know that. You know that very well. But am I the only one who thinks the center of this rune looks like it looks like some fertilization going on? That's what that is, isn't it? Though, actually, if this barrier, this boundary field is what I think it might be, that might represent something else, but the imagery is still there. An 8-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. This purplish-red character, only visible to Magi, is something I have never seen before, engraved with something unknown. Damn it, this isn't something I can handle. The person who set up this boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think. but the boundary field is bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came out onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of this boundary field. This boundary field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them. But the boundary field laid out over the school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It is a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. Yeah, I thought I remembered this. Whoever laid this rune wants to pretty much capture all the life force of all the innocent people within the school, all these kids and teachers, and make that power their own, to add it to their own reserves. So, while the rune symbol may look like a fertilization, if you get what I mean, it also kind of represents a bunch of souls flowing into one mass, which I kind of guess is fertilization, but whatever. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one magus has ever understood the soul. Souls are only things to be investigated, or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them in a single place. It's because a magus has no use for them, even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. Which means this must be for the benefit of a servant, no? So if there's a reason, it must be... Yeah, I think this trailing off, that's getting at what I just said. This must be for the benefit of a servant. That has to be it.
Archer, あなたたちって
Are
そういう
you...
もの?
Archer, are you servants... this kind of creature? I ask coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。
It is as you
我々
suspect.
は基本的に
I told you we are basically spirits.
故に
Therefore, our meals consist of souls and mental constituents. Jeez.
君たちが肉を得ようとする
As
よ
you subsist on meat, we subsist on souls and
うに
minds. Great.
栄養を取ったところで
Our basic abilities do not change from such nourishment,
取り入れれば
but we
取り
do
入れるほ
become
ど
tougher. In other words, our magical
魔
energy
力の貯蔵
capacity
量が上がって
increases.
いくというわけだ。
Ah. So, to put it in terms of like an RPG, your damage numbers don't go up, but your MP bar does go up. Huh. Yes. To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供さ
So
れ
the
る魔力
magical
だけじゃ
energy
足
the
りないって
master
こと
provides isn't enough.
足りなくはないが
It's not
大い
that,
に越したことはない
but it doesn't hurt to have more.
実力が劣る場合
In war, if you lack strength, you make up for it with supplies, right?
周囲の人間か
It's
ら
a
エネルギ
basic
ーを奪う
tactic
の
for a
は
master to
マスター
steal
としては
energy
基
from
本
the
的な
people
戦略
around
だ
them.
そうい
In
った
that
意味で言え
regard,
ば
this boundary
この
field
決
is
意は
very
確実に
efficient. Archer is saying that, if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I am going to choose.
それ勘に触るわ
That annoys me.
二度と口に
Don't
しない
ever
で
mention it again, Archer. say so while staring at the mark. For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers,
同感だ
I feel the same way.
私も真似をするつも
I
り
do not intend to do so either. Good.
さてそれじゃ消そうか
Well, let's erase
無駄だろう
this.
けどとり
It's
あえず邪魔を
meaningless,
するぐらい
but it should hinder them a bit. I approach the mark and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down the Tohsoka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy onto my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields. Now all I have to do is activate it. Abzug. Bedeinan Mittelstand. I'm not even going to try to pronounce these right. Eliminate. Surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but...
なんだよ消しちまうのか
What? You're going to erase it? What a waste. Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. Oh shit, it's Virgil! Yeah, it's this guy. Hi. I quickly stand up and turn around. On top of the water tower, in the sky 10 meters away, a guy is looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wild, and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend, even in this situation.
これあなたの仕業
Is this your doing?
いや
No.
小細工を浪するの
Petty
は魔
tricks
術
are the
師の役割
Magi's
だ
job.
俺たち
We
は
only
ただ
fight
命
as
じら
we
れ
are
たまま
commanded
戦うのみ
to. Isn't that right, you over
お
there?
兄さんよ
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
やっぱり
As I
サーバン
thought,
ト
a servant.
そうとも
That's right.
え
Since you
そ
can
れが
tell,
わ
I
かる
can
お嬢ちゃん
consider
は
you as my enemy,
俺の
right?
敵ってことでいいのかな
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. My spine freezes. A normal, light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard, scary enough to make me vomit. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is. But my reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
ほう大したもんだ
Wow, that's pretty
何
good.
もわからねえようで
You
要
seem
点は
like you
抑え
don't
て
know anything, but you grasp the important points.
ああ
Man, I
失敗し
messed
たな
up.
こりゃ
I shouldn't
面
have
白
called
がって
out to
声
you
をか
just
け
for
るんじゃなかっ
fun.
たぜ
The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now now holds a red weapon, 2 meters long. I love spears. Spears are my favorite fictional weapon type. I know spears are real. I mean, like, in fiction, I have a thing for when spears are used in fiction, right? Like, it's my favorite in real life as well. But I'm saying that when it comes to fiction, it's my favorite. I worded that very poorly. I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on a rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. he rushed me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied. Ah, you've got some good legs, young lady. The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me. To my sides? No, I won't make it. My response is fast. I run the magic crust on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather, and I leap. Rin, I know, let me handle it. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds until landing. No, that's too slow, he'll catch up. Archer, take care of the landing. I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles, to play to Archer's and my strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. Oh. Yeah, Rin is like top of her class in physical stats, right? She said that, and on top of that, she lightened her body with magic, making her even faster. That's pretty clever. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would see only a blur. But that's... Man, those are really good legs. It'll be a waste to kill you here. Meaningless against a servant. He's already there. What a guy. Archer! At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight. Wow. The man crooks his mouth. That's good. That's the way to go. I don't mind people who are quick on the uptake. A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me on the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me. Servant. Lancer. That's right. And your servant is Saber. Or maybe not. Who the hell are you? Yeah, so, why does Archer have a short sword? I mean, that's not what I imagined Archer would have. There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with a bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless. You're not the type to engage in one-on-one combat. So you must be Archer. Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. So, Lancer here, with his master still unseen and unknown, doesn't recognize Archer at all. Like, with how often I have assumed the Holy Grail War to occur throughout history, I have to wonder why he doesn't even recognize him. That is curious. The two counterfeit-colored knights are already watching for each other's clinching blow. I'm not sure that's the right use of counterfeit. Alright, I don't like it, but now we've met, we'll just have to fight. Come on, take out your bow, archer. I have some manners, so at least wait for that. Archer does not respond. There is nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize I'm being stupid. Archer is just waiting for my word. My command. Archer. I talk to his back without approaching him. I won't help you. Show me your powers here. Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. Baka! What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is a raging whirlwind, the responding spearhead is a divine wind. The sword is swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust at high speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters, the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. Idiot! A mere bowman challenging a close-range fight? His temper is like a burning fire. Lancer closes in with each blow, with no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close into an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning. No way. But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast, even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of his thrusts could be called a final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think the main attack of the lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of the lance is in swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Spears are so cool, man. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range where a lance swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust can contain certain to strike you is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. The advantage of lawn weapon is in the length and freedom of its range. Once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is... Huh? The one in red stops. A nightmare-like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. No, not just that. The thrusts increase in speed and power without limit and becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attack without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runway to launch an even more powerful attack. Uh-oh. The raging continuous attack is only a repetition of that. But the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many times more than that. The heavy rain of lance pours with yet more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. It thrusts like a waterfall, with no change in speed. What can Archer do as he's now on the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. This seems like a losing battle. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I will hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest ranked familiars, called heroic spirits, that the Holy Grail summons. So, it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the magus. Imagine perhaps a cat in boots. Adorable! Or a cute white bird. Or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that a mere magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. Wow, that actually really does mean a lot. Oof. It's not that the summoning is hard, or even that the ability of the servant surpasses that of the magus. servants themselves are beings above magic. Wow. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gain concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. Yes, I remember this distinctly. This is pretty dang amazing. So it's as Rin describes, each and every heroic spirit, each servant, is a historical figure, or someone from a very famous fable. For example, I'm assuming here, I only know just like one identity. I know who Saber is. Kind of hard not to. That's very memorable. And by who Saber is, I mean the Saber that we saw at the very start. The one in the blue. With the blonde hair. The lady. That Saber. I know exactly who that is, but I won't say. So for example, Genghis Khan could be a servant. Santa Claus could be a servant. I remember someone telling me very explicitly that, yes, Santa Claus himself would become a heroic spirit. That could be possible. He fits the rules, the requirements. Basically, the possibilities for who a servant could be are virtually endless. And that's not even tapping into saying like purely fictional people or stories. Like if this franchise wanted to, it could just make up its own media, its own history, but no, if it's pulling from real world history, you still have a metric crap ton of people and characters to choose from. Like, just look at like every single Grimm's fairy tale. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether these people existed in reality or only in stories. It is people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. So, yes, this is what I wanted to get into, but I couldn't because of spoilers. The fact that Archer does not remember who he is from history baffles me because, as a narrative choice, I don't understand how the reveal could be shocking. Like, if you have the servant not know who they truly are, the only reason you could ever make that a thing, to write that in the first place, is if you made the eventual reveal of who they are a surprise, meaningful. And if the identity of Archer could be literally anyone popular from history or fiction, I don't get it. How could it be meaningful? What is the truth? I don't understand how it could be good or meaningful or surprising. I don't understand quite yet, but I'm willing to see where it goes with this. That said, maybe the only narrative function of Archer not knowing who they are is that they can't tap into their true power. Because it's as Rin said, a servant needs to invoke their true name or their true history to realize their true power. So there's that. The ultimate ideal humans have created. The greatest human people have created. Oh, one moment, I have a phone call here. Alright, sorry about that little cut there, I had to handle something. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. Ha! Well said. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent form 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. Okay. So recent history is a no-no. The youngest heroic spirit can be just 100 years ago or more, I see. So no recent political figures or anyone like that. They're people or things that have to have seeped into the public consciousness and just made some very deep roots. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call unto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. That form is their temporary name, and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes, so that the heroic spirits may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present, as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirits to take on that role, it helps the spirit take form. Oh! Okay. So it's not like there are countless thousand spirits just chilling in the hereafter, just waiting to be called in. From the way this is worded, I want to say it means there are precisely 7 heroic spirits. And when they are summoned, they kind of slip into the name and the appearance of a person from legend and history as sort of like a costume. It becomes them. They slip into it like a glove. And these 7 distinct roles help differentiate each other from each other. Yeah. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Magus, Caster. silent killer, assassin. Mad warrior, berserker. Only the heroic spirits with the attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. Okay, that cements it, I think. It is precisely 7 heroic spirits that are called by the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail kind of jams them into specific roles. So I guess the specific person of history that is called forth is kind of random, and that would certainly explain how this Lancer and this Archer have not met before. Okay, I get it. Anyway, I think now that the basics of this description have been dealt with, I think I want to actually end it here. This has definitely gone over an hour, which is my self-imposed time limit. Yeah, I mostly remembered all this stuff except for the specifics about what the spirits are, the heroic spirits. Yeah, so Saber, Lancer, Archer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, and Berserker. Those are some very distinct roles. I do have to wonder about Caster, though, because that just sounds like an extremely powerful mage. You know, like, obviously, Saber, Lancer, and Archer are far beyond human capability in terms of physical might. So it stands to reason that Caster would be far beyond human magic ability. That said, Caster is described here by Rin as a magus, and not a sorcerer. So, I mean, I want to say that Caster would be more powerful than the 5 sorcerers, but who freaking knows? I don't know. And of course, Saber, Lancer, and Archer here are considered knights. So that actually answers my earlier question earlier in the video of why Archer knows he's a knight, and even though he forgot his name, his identity. Yes, so I think everything is very clear. Yeah, so far in the visual novel, we know the master and servant for Saber. We know the servant for Lancer, but not yet the master. Rin and Archer are obviously Archer, and we know absolutely nothing about Team Rider, Caster, Assassin, and Berserker. So there is a lot left to cover. Oh my. In fact, I am reasonably sure we can say with confidence that this fight between Archer and Lancer here, it won't be conclusive. For indeed, how in the world could one of the mages, one of the teams, meet their end so early? It just wouldn't befit a magus. Huh. Well, I think that's gonna do it. We'll finish up this fight next time, I think. So, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Fate Stay Night. I thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you next time. So until then, please take care.